You know, I thought that this was going to be the most retarded news story that I read this week. Utah teen attempting bird box challenge crashes into another vehicle. I mean, honestly, I didn't think anything could top the levels of pure retardation it would take for someone to think that actually driving with a blindfold on in any way was a good idea, much less on an actual road.
A fast spot, boy!
What is up, Traveler Nation? I'm your host, Killer Keemstar.
It's honestly hard to believe, though, that shitty Bird Box movie would convince anyone that it is a good idea to literally drive blind. Yeah, 2019 is off to a fantastic start with people blindfolding themselves while driving, and imagine that they end up in a wreck. I mean, who would have guessed? It's just a shame that natural selection didn't run its course. I mean, honestly, those type of people should not be allowed to reproduce, but I digress. I did say that that was what I thought was going to be the dumbest news story that I heard that week, but honestly, I think Bethesda has taken the crown because, let's face it, teenagers are stupid. They're predisposed to do stupid shit, so honestly, it's not too surprising that someone thought it was a good idea out of 300 million people to, blindfold themselves while driving. So, yeah, that's not really that big a deal, but Bethesda, on the other hand, they are a multi-billion-dollar corporation who is fully aware of what their actions do, and honestly, they just can't miss another chance to look like complete idiots and pull some absolute bullshit. I mean, it is absolute insanity what's unfolding at Bethesda these days. And just so we're clear, this isn't like one of those stories that gets way overinflated about someone actually being dumb enough to pre-order an $80 bottle of rum months in advance and then bitch about the bottle being made out of plastic instead of glass. I mean, yeah, no, it's not one of these. This is a case where Bethesda really is just fucking up, truly, and they deserve all the criticism they're going to get for this. So this time, Bethesda is truly back on their bullshit by banning Fallout 76 players for encountering a bug that has not been fixed by Bethesda, which allows them to enter a secret area of the game called the developer room. And simply entering into this room is resulting in players being banned from Fallout 76. Now, what is so special about this room, and why is Bethesda so caught up in their feelings over people actually entering this room? I mean, why the fuck would it be in the game if they didn't want people to go in it? So to figure that out, let's take a look at an article from Engadget, which details exactly what's going on. The title of the article is Fallout 76 players found a secret developer room. Bethesda is now suspending anyone who enters. Doesn't that just sound like something Bethesda would do? I mean, at this point, I don't have any doubt that Bethesda would pull some bullshit like that. So let's go ahead and check out the article. No, Fallout 76's troubles aren't over yet. Gamers have discovered that the online RPG has a developer room where you can find virtually everything in the game, including unreleased items like special power armor. It even includes the game's lone humanoid non-playable character, a hapless target named Wubby. It's not hard to find the general location, although getting in reportedly requires less than legitimate methods. I don't know what the fuck that means. It could be hacking, it could just be jumping at a wall and, passing through a solid object, because it is a Bethesda game, and knowing their pedigree and ability to make truly buggy, broken messes, I would not doubt it's something so simple as jumping up against a door or some shit like that. It's also kind of ironic that the only NPC in the game is in an area that players are not even supposed to enter, considering that's one of the biggest complaints about Fallout 76. I don't know. I just kind of see the fucking irony in there. But anyway, let's continue with the article. As you might imagine, that creates all kinds of problems. Unscrupulous players could wield advantages over other players, and Eurogamer sources understood that some put their virtual gear up for sale on eBay. Needless to say, Bethesda isn't happy. Reportedly, those sources said that the developer was automatically suspending accounts for anyone entering the developer room. At least one player claims to have received a message saying that their character was in a corrupt and or unusual state, and a warning that they'd remain banned until they described how they entered the forbidden room. Third-party Fallout 76 markets have also banned users for trading equipment. Okay, so I'm gonna side with Bethesda here and just say, I can understand why they'd be pissy over a bunch of people selling this stuff on eBay and other third-party sites. That's very, very reminiscent of the whole CSGO gambling shitstorm that took place in the past, where people were using third-party sites to make a ton of money by selling in-game items, bypassing Steam. It violated a bunch of gambling laws of a bunch of different countries and allowed for kids to basically gamble by proxy of weapon skins. So I can understand why Fallout or Bethesda wants to crack down on that situation. That makes complete sense, and I'm on their side with that. But automatically suspending accounts for simply entering a room that exists because Bethesda hasn't figured out how to patch the bug, that is just fucked up. On top of that, in order to get unbanned, Bethesda is forcing people to, again, write an essay explaining why Bethesda's game is broken because Bethesda cannot pull their own head out of their own ass to make a functioning game to save their lives. I mean, that's so stupid. Like, what if you just encounter this bug on accident and you fall through the floor or some shit and end up in this room? You're going to be banned, and then you have to explain how you got there, and maybe they'll say, oh, we think you're fucking lying. We think you hacked. You got in there. You were trying to sell these items. And then guess what? You could lose your entire game progress. That's so fucked up to just automatically ban people for entering a room that is built into the game, but is accessible through a bug that Bethesda is not able or willing to fix on their own, and that is absolutely insane to me. They're relying once again on their own player base to identify and then basically figure out how to fix the problems with their own game. They've been doing this for decades, especially on the PC versions of their games, and it is the typical Bethesda response to issues, only this time with it being an online game, they can actually ban people for no apparent reason other than, finding a problem that Bethesda put into the game. So let's go ahead and continue with the article. While the damage to everyday players isn't likely to be severe, it's not what Bethesda needed in its efforts to rehabilitate Fallout 76's image. It also raises a question: why would Bethesda include the room in the public version of the game rather than limit the space to a private server? Developers have certainly left unfinished content in games before, and it's usually either harmless, such as incomplete areas, or hard to exploit against other people. You can't say the same here. Yeah, I'd say that's a great fucking question in this entire situation. Bethesda, why the hell did you include an area in the game that you don't want people to find, and why the hell is it on public servers? It would be one thing if people were like hacking into the private developer servers and bringing this stuff over to the public side of things, but you have a situation where your own incompetence in game design has led to people discovering a secret room that you have filled with the best in-game items, both existing and unreleased, not to mention the only NPC in the entire fucking game. People are going to want to check this out, and your response is to just ban them on the spot. Is the problem that a lot of these items are going to be available through microtransactions in the future, and you're pissed that you can't charge $5 for a special suit of power armor? Because that's what I have a feeling is going on here. This room's filled with a bunch of future microtransactions, and they want to discourage people from getting those items prematurely so they can later charge them like $5 later down the line for a suit of power armor or some new weapons or some shit. I'm not exactly sure what is in this entire room, but honestly, that's what it seems like. I mean, the obvious choice is just to patch the fucking room out of the game. Just take it out, remove it, get rid of it altogether. Or maybe just, patch the bug that allows people to get into it. Oh wait, you guys don't like patching bugs. I mean, it just seems like such a simple solution, but then again, this is the company that has re-released Skyrim like 10 times already at this point, and somehow still cannot manage to create a halfway decent version of that game in terms of bugs and glitches 8 years after the damn game released. I mean, Bethesda has gotten away with shit like this for far too long, in my opinion, even though the games, for the most part, at least in my opinion, they've been fun experiences, even with the bugs and glitches and overall just poor quality control over at Bethesda. I've at least enjoyed those games. Fallout 76, of course, is an exception. That game is a heaping pile of dog shit. So it makes the sting even harder because this is a new low for the company. The game is a shoddy patch job of Fallout 4 assets slapped together to create a cash grab that turned out to be one of the worst examples of a multiplayer experience in recent memory. On top of that, Bethesda has not failed to continuously shoot themselves in the foot with their idiotic handling of various issues surrounding the game, from the awful PC launch of the game where Fallout 76 felt like an alpha, with missing features like an FOV slider and a frame rate cap of 63. Top that off with their bullshit they pulled with the collector's edition, basically spitting in the face of their most dedicated fans who went out and spent $250 fucking dollars for that particular edition. Also, how Bethesda doxed literally every person who filed a refund request or an exchange request for their collector's edition bag that was not the one that was advertised when they bought the actual collector's edition. It's honestly unbelievable the amount of shit that has transpired in the last couple of months by one company. What you have is incompetence on damn near every level of the game, from a buggy foundation to the dumbasses in management calling the shots and their handling of PR disaster after PR disaster so poorly that the fallout, yes, fucking pun intended, of whatever controversy is surrounding the game ends up being more of a shitstorm for Bethesda than the actual initiating or inciting event. I mean, this is a company that is in such a bubble. Either that or they just don't give a shit, and they just cannot see how badly they're fucking up at this point. I genuinely think they honestly do not care at this point. They are basically thinking, oh yeah, people are just going to buy our shit anyway. It doesn't matter what we do. People will still buy our franchises, and Bethesda, I hate to tell you, your goodwill is running out, and I do hope you learn from this utter shit heap Fallout 76 turned out to be, because if you had been honest from the beginning and said, yeah, Fallout 76 is going to launch in a very rough state, it's going to be an alpha, the game's gonna be like $30. Help us shape the future of this game. The reception of the game initially would have been a lot better, and people would have been a lot more lenient in your handling of this game, but no, you had to milk a beloved franchise in time for the holiday season, and then of course you treat your customers like shit for so long, and before you know it, people are going to start to turn on you. And with shit like this happening on basically a daily basis, who the hell would blame them? But with that said, rant fucking over. Let me know your thoughts on this entire situation. I'm gonna go actually play like a decent game like Doom or some shit like that after talking about the dumpster fire of Fallout 76 to get the taste of shit out of my mouth. After talking about Fallout 76 for so long, honestly, I can't fucking stand this game. I put 3 hours into it and I haven't gone back since, if that says anything. But as always, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time. Oh, and Bethesda, don't you fucking dare fuck up Elder Scrolls.